The mid-afternoon sun blazed through Maggie's old station wagon as she navigated the winding back roads of Maplewood, her car packed full of apple pies wrapped in foil for the church fundraiser. She had the windows rolled down, letting the warm breeze tangle her hair, though the radio played low, just static and faint voices, as usual in these parts. She was nearing the third curve when it happened. The crackle of static dissolved into the unmistakable first few bars of Golden Days, her favorite tune. Maggie's heart leapt. The song was only released a few months back, but something about its bittersweet melody had hooked her immediately. She reached for the volume knob as fast as she could, cranking it up just as the chorus began. Golden Days, Golden Nights, belted out the singer as Maggie began singing along. The pies could sit tight for a few extra minutes. She pulled off the road just past a clump of cottonwood trees, parking the car to enjoy the song fully. With her elbows perched on the steering wheel and her head nodding to the beat, Maggie stared out at the rippling fields beyond the windshield. The notes of the soft guitar solo felt like a soundtrack to the late summer afternoon. She could almost imagine herself back in her high school days, dancing in a gymnasium full of shimmering lights. The song ended with the DJ's cheerful goodbye, and Maggie sighed. Though the moment was over, for just a few minutes, it felt as if time had paused. She eased the car back onto the road, with a faint smile curling her lips. Moments like that remind me of how music has the power to stop the clock, if only for a while. Saturday mornings always belonged to Joe and his dad, a sacred ritual of stopping by the hardware store. The place smelled of sawdust and oil, and the aisles were packed tight with nails, screws, cans of paint, and tools of all kinds. Joe usually wandered while his dad talked shop with Mr. Grady, the owner, an old friend who seemed to know everything about hammers and hinges. That particular Saturday, Joe was trailing behind a shelf near the back wall, the aisle with rulers and chalkline reels, when the store's scratchy radio on the counter popped and fizzled. It had been murmuring out the weather report, but suddenly, the announcer was replaced by a bright, twangy guitar intro, and Joe instantly froze. "It's roll on, Dad," he called over his shoulder, his voice echoing through the store. He could hear the smile in his father's voice as he replied, "Go on, son, let it out." That was all the encouragement Joe needed. He started clapping his hands and stomping his feet to the beat. Mr. Grady chuckled, leaning on the counter. "He loves himself some good music, don't he, Pete?" "That he does," Joe's dad replied. And then before Joe could even begin singing, his dad joined in, deep voice harmonizing with the upbeat melody. Before long, all three of them were singing. The old radio buzzed and crackled, but it didn't matter. Joe's voice cracked on the high notes, and Mr. Grady's deep baritone was hilariously off-key. But by then, the entire store seemed to be alive with their laughter. By the time the song ended, Joe was flushed and grinning ear to ear. He even earned an approving clap on the shoulder from Mr. Grady. It's funny how even the simplest traditions stick with you, carrying the best parts of childhood in their chords.